Let everyone know what set you're from.
Man, I'm repping that Trey 5-7 graveyard gangster crip, man. You know what I'm saying? 7 stand, you know what I'm saying? Tall.
Let's take it all the way back before you stepped foot in the streets, before the music came along and everything. What was your upbringing like coming up in Ferris, Texas? Was mom around, dad around?
I mean, man, you know, really, I was raised, you know what I'm saying? I ain't going to say my mom and daddy wasn't around, you know what I'm saying? My mom was always around. But, you know, I stayed with my granny, man, you know what I'm saying? But it was just my choice, you know what I'm saying? It's because, you know, mama moved away from the hood. So, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't leave the hood. So I had to get back down there with granny, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I was raised good, man. You know, I came up in the church, you know what I'm saying? Everything singing in the church, you know what I'm saying? I know the Lord, you know what I'm saying? That's my first word, you know what I'm saying? I stand on that, you know what I'm saying?
Before you even heard about Crips or Bloods, who were some of the gangs that were present in that general area, to the best of your knowledge?
Man, it was a Trey 5-7 Dixon, you know what I'm saying? You know, my pops was actually, you know what I'm saying, Trey 5-7 Dixon, you know what I'm saying? So I was raised in it. I was born in it, you know what I'm saying? Really, people say they was born and raised in it, but I was actually born and raised in it. My pops was actually, you know, OG in South Dallas, Trey 5-7 Dixon. So I've been knowing about it. That's the only thing I ever knew.
And is that the same Trey 5-7, the same one from out here in Los Angeles?
Yeah, well, basically, you know, that's where the Trey 5-7 came from. We originated from the land, you know what I'm saying? POMONA block. Shouts out to them boys, you know what I'm saying, for putting that 7 down for us. But yeah, you know, Trey 5-7, you know what I'm saying, originated, you know, in California, you know what I'm saying, on Pomona block, and it came from there to Dallas, Texas. You know, it came up with Trey 5-7 Dixon, and when that came along, you know what I'm saying, it was a young cat that they wasn't accepting, you know what I'm saying, in they set, because he was a little younger than everybody, so they used to push him out the way. So what he did was he went around the corner to South Dallas, you know what I'm saying, on Lincoln, by Lincoln Park. Everybody know, you know what I'm saying, the grave site. Went up in the grave site, him and about 3 or 4 homies put it down, and, you know what I'm saying, they came up with the brand Trey 5-7 Graveyard, you know, and we was at beef with them boys for a long time. It was Crips on Crips for a long time about that, you know what I'm saying, but shouts out to SOG Baby Cash, you know what I'm saying, for putting that Trey 5-7 Graveyard down, you know. Without him, it wouldn't be no graveyard. So they, you know, they wasn't accepting Cuz. So Cuz went and started his own set, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it just came a worldwide thing, you know. So
aside from Trey 5-7, who are some of the other gangs that started sprouting out that we would recognize?
6-0, yeah, 6-0, Rolling 60s, man. Shouts out to them boys. North Dallas, Well Chapel, you know what I'm saying? They straight from the land, you know. And then we got the Fire Night, the Hoovers, you know what I'm saying, straight from the land. Shouts out to them boys. You know, that's pretty much back then. That's why I knew they came straight from the land out there. But you know, that's where it originated at, you know, in the land. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, shouts out to the boy. We got much love for the land, man.
Mm-hmm. So your father was around that, like, pretty much at the beginning. It sounds like of gangbanging out in that way, right?
Yeah, man. That was back really in the early 80s, you know what I'm saying, when they was putting it down with Trey 5-7 Dixon, you know. That was the hardest gang out here, you know what I'm saying, for a while. You know, everybody started wanting to, you know, wear blue, you know what I'm saying, but that was one of the hardest gangs out here for a while.
How influential were movies like Colors, Menace to Society?
I mean, I'm not gonna say it wasn't already in motion. You know what I'm saying? They was already doing it. It just influenced them to get harder, to do it harder and do it more. You know what I'm saying? And try to be harder than the next. You know what I'm saying? When it didn't take all that, but you know, that was a big influence on everything. Everything seemed like, you know, it was going on, but once all that came out, it's like it advanced. You know what I'm saying? It started getting more. It started getting worse. You know what I'm saying? So, but. Yeah, that was a big influence on a lot of things I heard, man.
Talk to me to the best of your knowledge, because, you know, in LA, you know, it was most active. It was really cracking, you know, crazy in like 92, 93, 94. It was like 2,400, you know, homicides in Los Angeles. And even for civilians such as myself who never gangbanged or anything, it was a war zone out there. To the best of your knowledge, when was Dallas not Dallas, your area. I'm sorry. I mean, when was your general area like the most active?
Man, I'm gonna say probably like in like the early '90s, man. You know what I'm saying? Probably like '92, yeah, '93, yeah.
Same about the same time, right?
Yeah, definitely about the '90s, yeah.
It's safe to say that because a lot of it had to do out here with the uprising of crack. Is it pretty much safe to say that that's how it was out there too, around that time?
Yeah, definitely, because that's what brought everybody together. You know what I'm saying? Everybody standing on one side trying to get some money. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, you create that bond as a family, and you know what I'm saying, and you build something off of that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
It hurt a lot, but it actually drew a lot of us together. You know what I'm saying?
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What's the Latino gang presence like?
They TANG0, man. They blasted, man. That's how you go see out here, man. They blasted.
What do you mean?
TANG0 blast.
Oh, TANG0. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, they blasting out here. Pretty much all these boys out here blasting.
Okay. Is numbers wise, what like is it a Crip city? Is it a Blood city? What would you say?
I mean, as far as my city, Ferris, yeah. Texas, it's nothing but Crips out here. You know, we was a small neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? We had a lot of going on down here. You know, so it was like we 15 minutes from Dallas. So when we wanted, you know what I'm saying, when it was time to party and crank up and wreak havoc, you know what I'm saying, we took it away from home. We didn't never want to bring that into the city where our community is, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And bring nothing to our community. So we always went away from the house to party and to wreak havoc when we was younger, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. See, I live, 20 minutes outside of Los Angeles, but everybody we claim Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? It's
right.
From LA.
Definitely,
you know what I'm saying? It's LA County. Yeah. We're LA. So it's not insulting. It's not to say that, you know, if someone screws up and says, oh, it's the Dallas area, it's not like a diss, right?
Right. No.
Okay, good. Cool.
We'll just, when they tell us that, we just be like, I mean, we 15 minutes from Dallas.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Cool.
They be like, yeah, you in Dallas, right? You be like, yeah, we in Dallas.
Cool. Well, let's take it back, man. When did you first jump off the porch?
I mean, man, I think I was like 15, man, when I jumped off the porch, man, and they, you know, it was just, you know, it had, when it just hit my hood like that, you know what I'm saying? It was underground, you know what I'm saying? It was 187 underground. And, you know, so after underground, I seen everybody was being underground, you know what I'm saying? Which I much respect and I love it, but I always knew Trey 57, you know what I'm saying? I think the underground got put down like in, 92? Yeah, December 1st, 1992, you know what I'm saying? That's when they put that down. So my hood basically was UNC underground, you know. So once again, like one of my big homies, SOG Stinky C, you know what I'm saying, CRlP, he passed away. But he got locked up basically, you know what I'm saying, and got put down in there, ran into SOG Cash. He got put down in there and he brought it from there to Ferris, Texas. You know what I'm saying? And I seen he stood out to me, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't rowdy. He didn't cause a lot of havoc. He wasn't loud. He just, you know what I'm saying, he moved in silence. So that's what I liked about it. And then I found out he was Trey 57 graveyard. He wasn't, you know what I'm saying, UNC. So when I ran into him, you know, he basically embraced me and like he told me a lot of good things. You know, he tried to lead me in the right direction. Like he always told me, you know what I'm saying, go to school, you know what I'm saying, don't get no gang tattoos. You know, he always, you know what I'm saying, if you're gonna be in this, you know what I'm saying, represent and make it out of something good. You know what I'm saying? Don't do this, don't do that, don't be robbing, don't be stealing, don't be killing. So when I got down, you know, we was young, but so we was gonna do what we gonna do anyway. You know what I'm saying? So by 14, that's when I really jumped off the porch, man. 14, 15, I just really jumped off the porch, you know. But he always wanted us to do good, you know what I'm saying? He never wanted us to do no robbing, no killing, no stealing. It ain't about beating up another man that got on red. You know what I'm saying? It was all about, you know what I'm saying, brotherhood and trying to, but you know, us as youngers, we wasn't trying to hear that. You know what I'm saying? We was going to Dallas every weekend. It was fun to us, you know what I'm saying? We was having fun, you know what I'm saying? Until, you know what I'm saying, other things started to happen, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it got real. So it really got real for me, man. It probably about like 16, man. It was one night. I mean, it was really hell. You know, they had a little party in South Dallas, right in the middle of the Fair Park. You know, and it was like a group of us, and it was a group of Bloods, basically. And they was in the parking lot next to us. We had a Walgreens parking lot, which is, you know, Walgreens parking lot not too big, you know. And they was in the parking lot of Minyards, and that's a grocery store. So we walking through, you know, one day, at the party, whatever, after the party or whatever. So, and they start screaming like, you know, woo woo this, woo woo that, you know. So we walk back and tell the homies, you know, we next thing we know, we walking back over there. The other homies, they got them surrounded. You know what I'm saying? So boom. I see the homie start running, you know what I'm saying? Next thing I know, I just heard a female scream out and say, "Here come them Crips," you know what I'm saying? So, man, it got real then, man. That's when it really got real for me. I knew what it was then. I seen a lot, man. You know what I'm saying? I seen a lot, man. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we ain't gonna speak on it, but I seen a lot.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, of course, yeah.
A lot of homies in past. A lot of homies that's locked up ain't gonna never see the sunlight again, man. And I pray to God and I thank God that I followed the right path, and you know what I'm saying. Then go that direction.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, man. Same here, homie. What age range were you most active? Would you say?
Man, I say probably about 18, man. 18, that's when it really just hit the fan.
Did you
about 18 when it
did
when
you
it
ever do
deep.
did you ever do juvie, you know, any jail time or
yeah, man, I went to TDC, man. You know what I'm saying? I was in TDC for about, you know what I'm saying, 2 or 3 years, you know what I'm saying? I came out, I had a 7-piece, came out on that thing, did 2 or 3 years, came home. But yeah, and that was the first time I seen that, you know what I'm saying? And that there opened my eyes and made me see a lot, you know what I'm saying? A whole lot, man. It's like, you know what I'm saying? I learned that I don't need a group of people to step, you know what I'm saying? Like I can step on my own. You know?
That's deep.
Because everybody say they your homie ain't your homie, you know what I'm saying?
Well, shit, let's take it back to that day, man. When you got locked up, what's that first day like, you know, being an active gang member entering TDC?
Man, to tell you the truth, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna say something that a lot of people, a lot of homies scared to say. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, I was scared, and I wasn't scared because I was finna have to fight or I was finna have to do something. I was scared because I didn't know what to expect. You know what I'm saying? When somebody don't know what to expect, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you're gonna be scared. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know how I was supposed to step in here. You know, first day I get in the county, I have a fight. You know what I'm saying? Just because I look like my brother. You know, and my brother, he was 187 UNC. You know what I'm saying? I got 2 brothers. They both, you know what I'm saying, underground. You know what I'm saying? But my oldest brother, he been doing time since he was like, you know what I'm saying, 16, 15. He been in and out, you know what I'm saying, doing this thing. But he done it so much, you know what I'm saying, I didn't realize that it affected me, you know what I'm saying, because we look so much alike, all 3 of us, you know what I'm saying. So when I first hit the tank, you know, the guy seen me, you know what I'm saying, he was like, man, you look Crip. I'm like, nah, homie. He like, no, you look just like the nigga, man. What's up? I'm like, nah, homie, that ain't me. That's my brother. But you know what I'm saying? If you want to get it, we can get it. You know what I'm saying? So, boom, it jumped off. As soon as I get in there, that's the first. In the county, I got to fight. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it ain't nothing nice, man. I'm telling you, it ain't nothing nice. And that opened my eyes to a lot, man. Like, man, say that ain't what I want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people. Yeah, go ahead. Keep going. What were you going to say?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I started having kids and all that there, I wasn't trying to, go down that road. Because when you go down that road, man, even in there, man, everybody just say that your homie ain't your homie, man.
Mm.
It's some, man, say, man. Just say, man, y'all stand on your own, man. That's all I can say. Whatever you do, you don't need a group of niggas to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Smoking that good too?
Stand on your own. Oh yeah, you already know, man.
Same here, homie.
That OG finest.
Yes, sir.
That OG finest.
I got some Holy Grail Kush over here. Good conversation, man. Let's keep it going, dog. Are you familiar with this whole genre of drill where they actually diss the dead ops, where they're saying, I'm smoking on such and such pack, which means I'm smoking the enemy, I'm smoking weed, I'm smoking the enemy. Are you familiar with that whole drill situation?
Yeah, I heard.
Okay, is that shit? Is it popping down there in Dallas? Because I've heard other people from other cities say that it's been cracking in their city as well.
I mean, nah, not really. Not down here in the D. Not really. You know what I'm saying? We don't try to. You know what I'm saying? Nah.
Okay.
I ain't never heard it in the D.
Okay, that's good. Who are some of the artists in Dallas right now that are popping?
Shit, right now, man, they got Yellow Beezy right now. Yellow Beezy on top, you know what I'm saying? Mo3 was up there too, man. RP Mo3, you know what I'm saying? For real, Mo3 was up there. He was definitely on top, you know what I'm saying? Right now, we got Yellow Beezy, you know what I'm saying? Then we got Lil Ronnie, you know what I'm saying? Lil Ronnie motherfucking L. That's the name, yeah. And then we got motherfucking Trap Boy Freddy, he coming up, you know what I'm saying, right behind him. Then we got Lil Ross, you know what I'm saying. Then we got Street, you know what I'm saying, 45 South Radio, STLC boys, you know what I'm saying. That's what y'all just heard, that gangster, you know what I'm saying. And that boy Lil Ross, man, Sim Shy, y'all go check that out, man. That Sim Shy, y'all go check out that Street too, man. The boys doing that.
Yeah, a lot of talent is coming out of Dallas. The hip hop scene is just it's blowing up down there.
Oh yeah, they opened it up, man. They made it mainstream, man. So everybody out here trying to get it right now. You know what I'm saying?
It used to be all about Houston and nah, man. Dallas is of late, homie. They've definitely been getting it cracking.
Yeah. You know, we had to bounce back from that dance era, man. You know what I'm saying?
Was what's homeboy? Oh man, never mind. There was a rapper from early 2000s that I was trying to remember. That was from Dallas. God damn it! All right, fuck it. That's
which one we got? We had Lil Will.
It was Lil Will. Nah,
Leg Boy.
It was he had the hit on the radio. In like 2000.
DeRoe.
Exactly, DeRoe. Exactly.
Yeah, DeRoe still here.
Yeah, DeRoe. Yeah, I saw an interview with him a couple months ago.
Yeah, DeRoe still here.
Yeah, that's dope. He was one of the first ones to.
Yeah, DeRoe way up there. He above us right now, man. That's why I ain't thinking him. He done moved on, man. He done got up there.
Well, shit, when it comes to Dallas hip hop,
shout out to DeRoe, man. He put it down. He put it down for the D. Real.
When it comes to Dallas hip hop, because I'm a hip hop nerd. When it comes to Dallas hip hop, who are some of the earlier, influences of Dallas hip hop that people might not have heard about, but they just had just a hit locally?
Man, they had Gator Man, you know what I'm saying, and they had that who else with that? Gator Man, Lil Ronnie was hit. Lil Ronnie had a couple hits. Cottonmouth. You know what I'm saying? Tom DSR, shouts out to them boys. DSR definitely. You know what I'm saying? Big Tuck, Tom, which one? Lil Ronnie. Yeah. DSR, the whole DSR clan. Then the ball players, Gator Man, you know what I'm saying? That boy was doing his thing too.
Yeah, man. Well, shit, what's next for you? And promote anybody that you want to right now that we should check out, and I want to throw some links in the description as well. The floor is yours, homie.
All right, man. Next thing for me, man, y'all look out for my album, man, coming soon, man. It's gonna be called Tag Life. Y'all look for that, man. Tag Life. You know what I'm saying? If y'all got it on, y'all got me on Instagram, hit me up at Tag Show. You know what I'm saying? Or Tag NT, Tag King. That's us. You know what I'm saying? All that there, man. Go check out them 45 South record boys. You know what I'm saying? Go check out Lil Ross. Lil Ross. That's LIL. Fortune. You know what I'm saying? Lil Ross Fortune, man. Check him out. It's going down. Y'all look out for my album, though, man. It's coming up under that tag. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for tuning in to Dusty Vision TV. Please hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, you just might appreciate this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now.
Yeah.
All right, man. Who do I have with me?
Hey, yo, peace and much love. It's Divine Flows with the Z, here to represent for that real hip hop. And just don't stop.
I'm from Green Mosca, Beach Spot, spitting and looting while you burning, making a cheese spot. Taking el tiro, pero no es de la esquina. Escúchame porque mucha gente no más me mira. No más me mira, ira. Me dicen chavo, pero no del ocho. Antes era uno cosa diciendo mentiras como yo era Pinocho. Pero ya no soy un tonto porque ya sí reconozco. Yo soy bien tranquilo, pero cuando rapeo me pongo loco. Atrévete y vas a ver que te vas a ir pronto. That means if you did a pass, I'ma make you dip fast, man. You stand a fucking chance, so you better stay back. I'm gonna be back. Trying to step over you, ain't gonna laugh.
Yes, sir. Tell everybody where you're from, man.
So I'm from Wilmington, California. You know, that's the heart of the harbor of the HA, the harbor area. You know, so the harbor region of Los Angeles. Straight up.
Yeah. What was it like growing up in Wilmington, dog?
It was good. You know, it's just kind of dangerous. You know, like how every other hood is. It's pretty dangerous. You know, it's easy to get influenced by people that are, you know, affiliated with gang stuff or like, you know, tagging. I was into tagging, but that's hip hop. So, you know, I was just tagging, but, you know, a lot of shooting goes on, but I prefer to take the hip hop route, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's dangerous, but I love my city, you know, that's what made me, you know, the struggle from the streets and shit, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I grew up in the tagging era back in the 90s when it turned into tag banging, and then I just stepped out of the game after that. I was good because I got into it for the love of tagging, not for banging or anything. But what's the tagging like? You know, not to promote it or anything, but what's the tagging lifestyle like when you were in it?
So
what was it like?
It was dope. You know, it was really active. At least at the era when I was kind of getting into tagging, it was still pretty popular. You know, everybody was, you know, they're with their streakers or acrylics or like they go to the train tracks and, you know, so that's how it was with the homies. It was like every time we would walk, we'd have our streakers hit up, or even with slaps, you know, we'd put our slaps in the sticker, we'll slap them up,
yeah,
you know, but like I said, we'll go to the train yards, you know, it's more safer. We don't hit up in private property, you already know, no houses, just the trains, you know, but it was dope, it was dope.
How'd you get into hip-hop, dog?
Hip-hop, straight up, damn. First of all, I want to say, when I was like a kid and I didn't know about hip-hop, I would hear hip-hop from my dad. You know, playing Eminem, playing Naughty by Nature, that song OPP, you know?
Yeah.
That one song by Supersonic, whatever. But yeah, it started off with my dad. And then later on, I got into it because of my brothers, you know? I got into Eminem, I heard Stan after Stan.
It was a rap.
I started like doing my own research when I was like 13, 14. So after that, I started to like remember his lyrics as well. Eminem's lyrics, until I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start making my own, because I had a cousin that would like write. So it influenced me to start writing my own shit too. So that's basically how I got into hip hop, you know? It's just, you find something and you just, you want to look for more that's similar to that, and that's what I did, and that's where I find Big L, that's where I found, you know, KRS-One, Rakim, you know, all these legendary underground MCs, lyrical shit. So,
yeah, man. You know, your flow is amazing, dog. I've told you that in the past, homie, and you're probably the youngest one here that touched the mic tonight. That's probably the case every battle, or, you know, every cypher I've seen you in.
Yeah.
You know, what gives you the confidence, man, to go up against some heavyweights? You know what I'm saying? Because
what gives me the confidence is like, I have a homie that I made music with back then, you know, just on SoundCloud. He passed away. So like I never got the opportunity to really like get on the mic with him, you know. So before it was like we always wanted that. So now it's like, now that I have the opportunity and he's not there, I'm just like, damn, like it gives me like the confidence to actually go up there and do it for him, you know, not just for him but for me as well, because that's what we wanted. So I'm kind of representing myself and him in a way, because it's like me and him, like we always wanted to be on the mic together, you know, because we got like 6 songs on SoundCloud and stuff. But yeah, that makes me like not to be shy or whatever, just knowing that my homie's not here and that I could do this. And like, you know, it's like I can't lose it. Like there's no way I could, you know, it's there. So it's like might as well just take the chance, you know, don't just be confident, you know. It's what I was taught, because I'm here in this life living, so I might as well make it worth it while I'm here, you know.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things for sure.
Yeah. I told you this before. You're a superstar in the making. Just keep yourself together. Don't f it up. And I promise you, you're gonna hit the top, dog. Divine Flows with the Z. Tell everybody where they can find you one more time.
Hey, straight up, you can find me on Instagram, SoundCloud, any streaming platform under Divine Flows with the Z. Not with the S, with the Z. If you put an S, you're not gonna find me. That's why I always try to emphasize Divine Flows with a Z, you know? That's what it be. Peace and much love to hip hop. Peace and much love to Dusty Visions. I really appreciate you, and I'm here for the culture and for the preservation of it. It don't stop as long as I'm here.
What's going on, yo? It's your man Biohazard, the Great White Crip. Checking in with my man DustyVisionTV. Holla.
What led up to you joining the Crips?
Man, my story is something crazy. Like I'm a suburban white kid by birth. I was adopted at birth, raised in the suburbs of Montgomery County, Maryland, and not like the tough parts of Montgomery County, Maryland, because there are some. Just in a regular old, you know, majority white suburban neighborhood. I played sports. I was nice at basketball. I had some Division I shit. Not like anything crazy, like, you know, top 25 schools, but some smaller schools, some local schools, and then a few from around the East Coast, because I went to so many basketball camps at AAU shit. You know what I mean? But at 15, my mother died from breast cancer, and it spread to her brain. And that fucked me up. I came home from work at the basketball camp one day, and we had her in hospice because she had been in a coma, and we didn't want her to die at the hospital. Fuck that shit. So we brought her to the house. So I would go into the room every night, every day after I got home from work, and just sit with her and, you know, talk to her and everything for like half an hour. And I went in this particular day, and I was the one to discover that she had passed. So at that exact moment, the person who I was walking into that room never left that room. Like, I was somebody totally different.
Just fuck everything.
Yeah, fuck everything. I stopped playing ball. I stopped, you know what I mean? Not that summer. That basketball saved my life that summer, because I tried to take my own, I didn't try. I thought about taking my own life a bunch of times, but I'm not a doer. Fuck that. You know what I mean? So, by the way, if anybody feels like they are suicidal, man, get some help. It's not worth it.
Yeah, man.
Anyway.
Amen.
But yeah, so I just, you know, what kind of threw me into the street life, because I didn't know nothing about no street shit at all, man. Not a single thing.
Okay.
I was not tough at all. I wasn't a bitch or nothing. Like, I could fight, you know what I mean? But I didn't seek out fights. I wasn't acting like I was Mr. Tough Guy. I was just me, you know what I mean? I was cool. But my father owned a liquor store in Southeast DC. It's actually real close to where the Nationals play play baseball now. But at that time, before they were in town, it was definitely the ghetto, and we were the only white people there. And just in our parking lot, if it existed, you could get it in our parking lot. You know what I mean? So I kind of jumped off the porch there after that point, and because I knew these cats already. I've been coming around since I was, 8 years old. They knew who I am. I'm the owner's son, but they never disrespect. That's why we let them do what they want. Like, look, just make sure don't nothing fucked up happen to the business and no bullshit goes on out here, and we ain't got shit to say about nothing you doing. We don't know shit. We ain't gonna say shit. We ain't gonna call them for shit. None of that. Do what you do. And then my pops always used to do, like, give back to the community. He'd do raffles. He did back to school giveaways. He did, you know what I mean? Like, he did stuff for the community that he did business in. Like any good businessman would. That's the whole point. You got to take care of the people who take care of you. We able to have this house and go on these trips because these people come to our store. So what kind of person you look like? And he always told me, like, I don't care where anyone's from, what they look like, what the color of their skin is, and nothing. How they sound, it doesn't matter. If they treat you with respect, treat them with respect. If they don't, then don't. And it's that simple. So I encountered different ethnic backgrounds at a young age and was always taught that shit don't mean nothing. You know what I mean? So a lot of people didn't have that, especially the kids I went to school with. You would have never seen not one of them anywhere near where my dad's store was. ever in the history of the world. So already my life experience was different.
Gotcha.
But I started rapping, and I met a dude, took me to the studio, whatever. We ended up doing a bus trip to New York for the showcase at the spot in Manhattan. So it was just like 60 DMV cats on. We rented a bus. We were blowing tree up there on the way up there. And we had, actually the first one was the only dude from, shout out Top Dog Hill, one of the illest, you know what I mean, in the DMV's history, not just the Crip and shit, but the music shit. We really was running that shit. Shout out Infrared, white folks. But the cat that was there that night was my man Mo Better, who's a DMV legend when it comes to rapping. Like if you rap in the DMV or you were ever anything from the DMV, you know Mo Better. He knows anyone who's ever made it out the DMV. Got big respect for Mo Better. But anyway, I freestyled in front of him. He was like, "You cool." We did another one of them exact same bus trips like a month later, whatever it was. This time, all the Top Dog Hill is there, including Cyrus the Virus. Top Dog Hill was 40 out of the 60 people on the bus. So, and they was all crippin'. You know what I mean? Every one of them was crippin'. Like, so 40 Crips from DC is rolling to New York
That's
to
risky.
do a showcase in Manhattan. Yeah, but it wasn't though. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, yeah, it's cool. Like, yeah, you could pop off, but there's way more of us than you think on here. Just imagine you go in somewhere and you having a confrontation with a dude, and then he's like, "You want to see a trick?" And he starts barking, and then all of a sudden you realize that about 50 to 60% of the entire building is barking at you. It's intimidating, bro, if you're not on the right side of that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so they were shooting a video for one of Cyrus's videos. You know what I mean? And it was you know, we was smoking. I was green in the gills. I hadn't even smoked in like a year. They were bringing like dragon fruit kush on the fucking bus. You know what I mean? They had strippers on the bus, fucking clapping cheeks the whole fucking ride up. You know what I mean? Like, these niggas is ill as shit. They was doing their fucking thing. You have to excuse me too. I know I'm white, but you know what I mean.
That's all you want, homie.
Nah, I mean with the N word. I got that pass, dog.
I'm from Long Beach, I'm from Long Beach, and I grew up around everything. My Asian neighbors said niggas, so don't even trip, dog.
All right. Nah, I'm just explaining. I'm not apologizing. I'm explaining for those who are curious, because I don't give a fuck.
Basically, fuck them is my point
right.
too.
I don't.
So.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't. No, for sure. I was going to get there. I was just going to say it in a really
politely, right? Yeah.
And
Nice, polite.
No,
way.
not politely. No, in a long-winded and ignorant way.
But go ahead, player.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, these niggas on they shit. Like, I like how they move. I fuck with their style. You know what I mean? Like, and they all was for each other like the whole fucking time. And so I just started coming around after that. And they all did music, obviously. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to break into the scene. And that locally at the time, they were as big as it gets. You know what I mean? So I started fucking with them off the strength of that. I'm getting on the metro and getting off in the hood. No strap, no nothing. Walking to this house, you know what I mean, on G Street. I know you've heard about G Street from fucking Cyrus.
Yeah.
Like, to the fucking house. You know what I mean? To the fucking studio. So that's just how it happened. Kind of like some biker shit. Like, you gotta be a hang around first. You know what I mean? Like, you just gotta be around. And then I was always just, you know, pulling weight like I was supposed to. You know what I mean? And then musically, we kept fucking with each other. I was hosting shows every other week at a spot in Georgetown in DC for a while. So, you know what I mean? We were booking them for those joints because they bring people, and their live performance was tight. Like, it was a fun show to watch, just as a hip hop fan. So they was always doing big shows and the biggest events. You know what I mean? So it kept progressing from there. And then I got close with Infla, and I got close with Cyrus, especially. You know what I mean? As far as the Crippin' side of shit. And we did a few songs together, rolled around the hood together, whatever. And I didn't know he was already planning on making me one, but he was. But I pretty much told him, I was like, look, dog, like, you might as well give me one of them flags. And he looked at me and said, why? I said, because I'm going to act like I got one anyway because I fuck with you. And he was like, all right, you know what I mean? And that was that for the time being. I mean, it sounds like a fun little story, but it got real rocky real quick. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't sound like it ended there.
Nah, not at all. Because, like, Cy went to prison, like, right after I came home. You know what I mean? And then there was just a bunch of bullshit going on there. I'm not going to get into details, but there was a bunch of bullshit, and he sat down for a couple years, and then, you know, there was some inter-squad bullshit that I'm also not going to speak on, but I ended up getting incarcerated for like a year right as like Cyrus was coming out. I was like, hey, what's cracking? And then I fucking was in. So we hadn't really talked, seen each other because of whatever circumstances for like 2-3 years. You know what I mean? Like, he was doing his fucking thing, and then there was some, like I said, there was some inner squad bullshit, so that had to get fucking handled. And then he came out, I went in. So when I came out, I had a lot of feelings about some of the people who was doing some fuck shit, you know what I mean? And me and him linked back up, started doing our thing, woo, woo, woo. Next thing you know, we signed with Mr. Cheeks, and keep it moving.
That's dope, man. R.I.P. Freaky Top.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, dog.
LB salute my lost boys all out in Queens. You know what I mean? Bobby Garcia, Mr. Cheeks, motherfucking the whole family. Powerful. Chaz, all my homies out Albany. Mob Music. Blue Spade, you already know the drill.
Yeah, I think Mr. Cheeks just he was on the have you heard that K-Slate song that just came out with 110 rappers?
100, yeah.
I think Cheeks has a verse on that. I think I'm only like halfway through.
Me and Cyrus I didn't finish it yet either. Okay. Me and Cyrus watched about like at least 20 minutes of it.
Yeah,
I was
just
like, yo, I didn't even realize at first. I was like, yo, is this still the same song? He was like, dog, it's 100 cats on the song. I said, shit.
Yeah, that shit's sick, man. I can't wait to finish that shit. My advice to new YouTubers and podcasters is don't create a character. Be yourself. It may take you a lot longer to reach your goals, but you will thank yourself in the long run. And most importantly, you can look yourself in the mirror daily and know that you didn't sell your soul for a few clicks and views. The problem I've noticed with a lot of content creators over the years is that they do everything they can to make their channel grow. They upgrade their studio. They post content every day. They make pretty thumbnails. They cut up clips and promote them on TikTok, but nothing works. Their channel isn't growing. So what do they decide to do? They decide to create a character and they start acting on camera. They start picking beefs with other YouTubers for no reason. They figure, hey, it worked for Charleston White. Maybe it'll work for me. They figure, hey, it worked for Hassan Campbell. Maybe it'll work for me. Hey, it worked for C-Mac. Maybe, just maybe, it'll work for me. So they put on this act. I've seen it time and time again throughout the years. The common denominator I've noticed with people like this is that they don't last long. Most people who create a character, most people who pick beefs with other content creators for no reason, they fizzle out. It's hard to keep up an act. It's hard to play a character 24/7. Be yourself. Don't be a character. I used to have a character. Back when I was an amateur podcaster 10 years or so ago, I used to yell into the microphone. I used to yell into the camera. I'd say stuff on my show that I'd never say to someone in person. And I'm man enough to admit that in the beginning of my career, I played a character. I played a character on camera. I played a character behind the mic. But as I morphed into a professional, I realized that being a character on screen doesn't translate too well when you have to do business with people in person. Being a character doesn't translate too well when you're trying to build solid relationships with people. That's why I gave up my character. I learned that early on in my career. The way I talk on my show now is the same way I talk when you meet me in person walking down the streets. There are characters like Charleston White and Hassan Campbell that made it, yes. But truth is, not many of you are as talented or as entertaining as Charleston White or Hassan Campbell. So the odds are your character is going to fail. Facts. And Charleston White is the perfect example of a character gone wrong. Because of his character, Charleston White can't walk around certain places safely. Charleston White has to look over his shoulder everywhere he goes, no matter what his character tells you on camera. Those are the facts. Don't be one of those characters. It isn't worth it. Here's some more advice for upcoming YouTubers and podcasters. Be careful with drinking and doing certain substances while you're recording content. Alcohol and other substances can enhance that character that you created, and you're liable to say something on the mic under the influence that you will regret later when you have a clear head. That goes for anyone with talent. Be careful introducing your character to alcohol or dope, because that is a surefire way to destroy everything you've worked so hard for. Characters. I get it. The clown is the main attraction at the circus, and a lot of you want to be the main attraction. And you're willing to put on a little paint and a shiny red nose to do so. I've never liked the circus. Bunch of clowns and dumb animals running around doing backflips and slipping on banana peels for my amusement. No thanks. Selling their soul for a quick reaction from the crowd, or in YouTube's case, a few more subscribers. Because YouTube clout is the biggest drug there is. And a lot of people will go out of character or create a whole new character just to get a little taste of it. Don't do it. Be yourself. Create good content. Stay away from the YouTube beefs, or as I call it, the YouTube circus. Stick to your game plan. Don't get sidetracked because you see the circus down the road has a longer line than your show has. Stay true to yourself, and the audience will eventually come. It may take a lot longer, but if you stick to it, it will pay off nicely in the end. Clowns don't have a long shelf life. Best of luck to you. And if there are any upcoming content creators who need advice, or any of you who need help creating or building your dream, feel free to DM me on Instagram, DustyVisionRadio. I help people all the time, and I'd gladly take a few minutes out of my time to point you in the right direction. Now go. Do the right thing. And don't be a clown. Now, the 80s was a rough time to grow up. You mentioned 81. I was born in 78, so we're pretty much in the same generation.
Yeah.
I remember the 80s and 90s. Even for a civilian like myself, it was just tough navigating, through the streets, especially when crack hit. Crack hit LA hard. It hit everybody hard across the country. But were you old enough, or did you understand the impact back then in the 80s and early 90s of what crack was doing to inner cities?
Well, at that time, obviously, I was young, and, my pops, I actually didn't find out until later in life that he was somewhat involved in, those kind of activities. He had some friends that were dealing, and, he ended up losing his job at the time. So he kind of had no choice but to kind of get involved in that to make the money that he needed to make to pay the rent and get the food on the table and all of that. But at that time, I didn't know anything. I had no idea, because he shielded us from a lot of that stuff that was going on. But I was aware at the same time, like there was just a lot of things going on outside of my block, a lot of fights, and, I've heard guns pop off on my block, and, it was definitely a rough time. And, obviously as you get older, you start to kind of see things and be exposed to certain things. But we didn't have the information back then that we have now, where you could go on a YouTube, or you could go online, or whatever the case may be, and do your research, and everything is so available now, where back then it's like you had to be there and live it to actually see, what was going on. So with that being said, at that time, as I was younger, I didn't really understand that much, but as I started to grow up and started to be exposed to a couple more things, and it was like, oh, okay, so it was a process.
Yeah. When did hip hop enter your life?
Hip hop entered my life, I would say, right around when NWA came out. NWA, Eric B. Rakim. But now the thing about that was, again, like my pops, he was a big disciplinarian. He didn't really like us, listening to music with cussing in it. I mean, even though at that time you didn't really, at least with like some of the groups, you didn't really hear too much cursing, like in the 90s. But, you had your NWAs, you had a lot of that stuff going on. And, my pops was kind of like, nah, like we don't, I don't want you listening to that stuff. But once the 90s came in, I would say like 91, 92, once Wu-Tang Clan came in and Death Row came in and all those acts that came out at the time, then it was just like, all right, now, I'm really digging this. Pop still wasn't too keen on the music, but at that point, again, I was growing up, I was a little older, I was rebelling a little bit, and it kind of drew me in. So I would definitely say like in the 90s, once the 90s came in, 91, 92, that's really where I was drawn into it.
Okay. And you know what? I've heard you show love to the West Coast in the past.
For sure.
And I know, I think you mentioned Tupac is your favorite MC of all time. Did I catch that?
He's one of my top favorites, for sure.
Okay, cool.
Definitely one of my top favorites.
Cool. Being that you're on the East Coast, I would love, you mentioned NWA. Let's go a little bit back further. But you mentioned NWA. I would love to know your thoughts when you first heard NWA. You're on the East Coast, and there's this lifestyle of these dudes on the West with lowriders and saying F the police and throwing up gang sign and like things like that. What was your first impression when you heard, let's say NWA?
Well, I mean, it was definitely something different. I've never seen anything like that before. Never heard anything like that before. So, again, like with my pops, he was very protective of me and my younger brother. So he would try a lot, very hard to kind of block a lot of that stuff from us. But if it's out there in the streets, you hear it on the radio, you see music videos on TV, you can't help it. You're going to get drawn to it. It was definitely something different. Like I've never seen anything like that prior to NWA, at least to my recollection. So seeing that, it was like, wow, like, this is definitely something different. Like, I've never seen this before. Maybe even in a movie, I don't think, you know, like you see people like, you know, shooting guns and doing whatever in movies, but it's like in music now, like this is something totally different. I've never seen or heard anything like this before. So it was definitely different. And I guess was different sometimes becomes attractive, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's kind of where it was. And then again, just like seeing all these other groups, Eric B. Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, all, you know, EPMD, all these guys that were doing it then, like they had their own little swag and their own thing, but NWA was definitely a different story.
Yeah,
for sure.
Man, for sure, definitely. Let's fast forward a little bit, man. I like to ask East Coast cats their opinion on this big situation that happened in hip hop back in 95, 96. But, you know, take yourself back. You're what, 15, about 15 or so, 16 or whatnot. But what were your thoughts when the whole West Coast, East Coast situation was going down?
Crazy. It was crazy. You know what I mean? But I will say this, it produced a lot of good music. You know what I mean? I would say that was probably my best or my favorite era of all time, like 95, 96, 97. You know, that was definitely my favorite era, you know. But once you saw a lot of the casualties that came with it, Pac, Big, and all these things that happened, all these unfortunate situations that happened, it was a little scary at that point. It's like, wow, like really? Like this is really what this kind of beef produced? Like, you know, because at first you look at it and it's like, oh, they dissing each other. You know, F the East Coast, F the West Coast, whatever the case may be, people taking sides, whatever. It was definitely something different, but it produced a lot of dope music. But again, the circumstances at the end of that was just a little too much. I felt like it went a little bit over the line at that point when we started to lose our soldiers out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, it was definitely rough. But as far as my taste in the music or me choosing sides, even though I am from the East Coast, was born and raised in the East Coast, I was never sold on the whole idea of, you know, East Coast, West Coast. Like, okay, I live in the East Coast, so I got to represent the East Coast. Fuck the West Coast. Like, nah, I was never into that. I enjoyed the music on both sides, for sure.
That's what's up. Same here. I mean, if you heard my top 5, I mean, 4 out of the 5 are East Coast MCs. I mean, Nas, Jay-Z, Ghostface. I mean, and then we got E40, you know, and then shit, probably Pac or something like that. But I've always had a love for the East Coast also. So when that shit was going down, it as a hip hop fan, it really fucked with me. I was like, damn, this really sucks, bro. And then like you said, when we lost Pac, I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. Like I fell out of love with hip hop for like a year or so, man.
Yeah, and it was rough. And again, you know, going back to what I was talking about before, like after my parents split, it was literally right in the midst of what happened to Pac. Because we moved up to Providence, I would say August of 96. And we were getting adjusted to the life up there.
Oh, he died
and
a month later.
Say it again?
Yeah, he passed a month later.
He passed a month later, yeah. So when I found out that Pac actually died, it was somber, like all over the place. It was like, wow, like, real? Because, you know, you heard about Pac getting killed, you know, Pac getting shot in the studio in 95 and getting robbed and all this stuff that happened to him in the studio. And he made it out of that. And then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, now he gets shot. You think he's going to make it out of that, and he doesn't. It's like, in a way, it kind of felt like, I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with Spanish music, but like when Selena got killed.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how, you know, you don't see things like that every day at that time. So when you see somebody of that magnitude get taken away in such a tragic way, it consumes you. And that's pretty much, you know, how I looked at it at that time. When Pac was taken away from us, I was like, wow, like that's a big one. Then you hear about Big getting popped.
Yeah, not even 6 months later.
Not even 6 months later, and it's like, all right, now this is getting out of line now. You know what I mean? It's like it was definitely rough.
The first tape that ever got me to fall in love with this genre called hip hop was a little tape called NWA and the Posse. And I have a couple of cats on the line who were heavily involved, not just in that project, but in hip hop, period. I'm talking West Coast pioneers, ladies and gentlemen. On the line, I have King Scratch and Scotty D.
NWA was a lot of groups put together the easy one to put together. And that was going to make NWA. And the Posse came out later when they added extra songs and they actually put a big old black block over my whole body.
Because the one I remember that I had, or that my homeboy Ruben had back in the day, it was like 6, 7 songs maybe. And it was just NWA. And I understand Macola did some tricks behind the scenes and added some people to the album. So can you break that down?
Well, Macola always did tricks behind the scenes, period. You know what I'm saying? What was his name? Scotty Jim Takita? Yep. They always did some kind of little shady stuff behind the scenes. You know, it was some money maker thing for them, but you know, at the same time, when NWA came out, it was supposed to be groups. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And me and Candyman was a group. You know what I'm saying? Ice Cube and what was KD, Jinx,
CIA.
they was all a group. They was CIA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, it all. And then my boy Chip.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had DJ Crane. You know, and then like I said, Candyman and I. You know what I'm saying? We were supposed to be a group of NWA. You know, so that was NWA, and then Easy and Dre and Cube, you know, they was actually like the main people in front of NWA. You know, but that's what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be groups that formed NWA. It wasn't supposed to be Easy, Ice Cube, Ren, and Dre, and Easy. It wasn't supposed to be that. It was supposed to be a group of people that was NWA at first.
I want to chat with Scotty D, visionary hip hop legend, and I want to ask you, Scotty D, to give a little breakdown because I know your hands have been in everything. I've heard your name, you know, from the likes of King T when he went to your shop that you had over there with the custom Fila joints. I've heard your name, you know, just in random places. But give us a breakdown of, you know, just a little history of Scotty D and how you've affected West Coast hip hop.
Scotty D came in the game in 1979 before it had a name. Mm-hmm. You know, we just fell in love with DJing. I was a dancer. You know, started off locking, and we pop locked. I went to Job Corps, found that sound, heard it for the first time in Job Corps from some New York guys. And all along, I didn't know my crew. When I came back to Compton to visit from Clearfield, Utah, my group was already there waiting for me, called the Soundmasters Group. The Soundmasters Group are a group that was formed in 1973 in Council Hill, New York. Google them guys, and you'll see it. About 300 of them. Just Ice is one of them. That's one of the main guys. DJ D, DJ T. So, me growing up in Compton, DJ D started the group there in Compton in 1979. I joined the group along with Coolio, Spoonie C, Little Richie C, Wiz Kid, and we were doing dances everywhere, just like they did in New York. They were
Coolio as in Gangsta's Paradise Coolio? Well, the only Coolio that anybody knows, right?
Coolio lives around across the street, and he's one of the original members.
Oh, okay.
They taught him how he didn't even have a rap name back then. He didn't even have a name.
What his name was? Mr. Somebody, Mr. Old Man or something?
Old Man, and it was Boo Daddy. He had several, nicknames. So he didn't have the name Coolio. That came way later. But I ended up joining Uncle Jam's Army on a fluke. I went there and passed out some flyers for my group, the Soundmasters Group. So we was getting in rap contests and everything with Lonzo at his club, After Dark, in like the same year, 1980. We actually won the contest because they gave it to this guy that can rap super rhymes all the way through. So the guys who were there saw us get down. And by me being a good DJ, all of us were good DJs, but we let DJ D do it, because he had the tricks and everything before the DJ and that. And Joe Cooley, the DJ D was the man. Living in Compton, we ended up meeting Mixed Master Spade the same time, about a 2 week when we started the group. Mixed Master Spade was already doing his thing in Compton with Mixed Master Ken and Tidy T and
R.I.P.
All that whole entourage. And we came together to join the Compton Soundmasters crew. Later on, we changed it to the Compton Posse, which was headed by Mixed Master Spade. I ended up doing promotions for all these guys who were making records, but didn't have anybody to promote their records for them. So I was making sweatsuits at the same time, custom sweatsuits, any kind of way you want it made. Down your arm, your name down your arm and leg, hood that zip open, your pants can zip off. If you carry the gun, I put a pocket in the middle of your belly button so you can pull that pistol out.
Damn.
Yeah, we were doing something any kind of way you wanted it, in any name. And we was making $1 million a month, like big dope dealers, like Freeway Ricks and Bo Bennett. We was making that kind of money. We were so big, we had stores all across the United States because everybody in every city was selling drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was having money, so you had to look the part of that thing that was going on at the time. And we would happen to be the fashion part. And we were doing ours before Dapper Dan. So when the rappers started coming to L.A. through Uncle Jam's Army, Roger Clayton joined forces. And I helped him do a lot of promotions and put the posters up, pass out the flyer, a lot of us. But he picked and choose who he really wanted, and I have to be one of them guys because I was all over the place selling my sweatsuit. If you want to impress me back then, I don't care who you heavy did, Run the MC, okay, buy a sweatsuit.
Damn.
I'm not very easily impressed.
Right.
Time went on, we got busted for copyright infringement, and we actually didn't get busted, we got indicted.
Oh, by Fila or by by who?
By Fila and Louis Vuitton.
Damn.
So we'll take the bags, we'll bust them Louis Vuitton bags open and make the suits. So we're going to bring all that back now. Like I said, me and Scratch are doing a film about how I grew up.